Hey guys, welcome back. Today this is going to be part 2 of building a metal security gate in front of my garage. Now if you haven't seen part 1, definitely go back. There's a whole bunch of good footage of ripping out old stuff and putting in these 2 bollards, which was my original plan, just to do 2 bollards to protect either side of the shed from vehicles. But I thought to protect the door, I could either do a 3rd bollard in the middle, a removable one, or I could do a big swing gate, which I thought would be more cool of a project because then I could integrate it with access control and that sort of stuff. So 2 bollards. This one's definitely dry and solid. This one's still, the concrete's still drying, but it's solid enough to work on. Wouldn't go running vehicles into it or anything or trust it yet, but it's getting there. So now we've got to work on the swing gate, which I've got a whole bunch of pipe in here for that. So my plan is to use this big long 20-foot pipe, might be more than 20-foot pipe, as my main arm, and then I got other pipe for anything else that might need to get used. So first I've got to cut it at 123 inches. I do need to get a better solution here because for my welder, whenever I want to weld, I need to disconnect the dryer and hook up into my cord for the welder, hook it right into the panel because I don't have a 50 amp receptacle. There's a 50 amp receptacle the thing takes, but it only draws 20 amps. So I just put on the 30 amp breaker for the dryer, and then we leave the panel cover open. Everyone just has to not go in there, and then my cord goes out the door and to my 50 amp receptacle. And yes, I know it's not at all legal, but it's what I gotta do for now until I got a receptacle. I'm gonna cut a groove in it that way for the hinge to slip into. I've got that cut there so it slips in there and it's across to here whereabouts I want it to be, so it'll get me the position of where my plate for it to go into will sit. But for now I'm gonna weld it up on this end here. Hopefully it's enough to clamp just being on there like that. We'll see. I've got this welded up here. It doesn't look good because I was having a lot of feeding issues with the wire, just kept getting stuck. Like it'd weld for a second and then just stop, and you could hear it trying to feed the wire, but it just wouldn't go. I don't know why it's having that issue, but anyways, that is attached now here. So it's ugly, but it attached. All right, I've got this welded up now. Now my welds look awful. I'm not sure why I can't get very good results with this flux core welding, as I can do a lot better with MIG welding, but I still got to clean off a bunch of them still actually. But it's welded up here. I had to fill a whole bunch of it, which was kind of tricky. So yeah, it looks like absolute garbage, but it does hold it together, so I guess it's all right. Now I've got to weld on, where'd it go? This thing right here. This has got to attach to this like that. So now it's a couple days later and I'm gonna get back working on the gate because I ran out of cut-off discs for the angle grinder, so I couldn't make any more metal. But I'm gonna cut out, I think, 3 sections of tube. One to go from the top to the bottom there to take some stress off the hinges maybe, and one closer there and one in the middle. So probably 3 different sections. So I think first I'll do this longer one right there, and then I'm going to weld them in place. All right, that's 2 of them in. So this guy's welded in. I filled up the gap. I was trying to cut them on an angle, but turns out it wasn't even worth it. That this pipe is only, I think, maybe 1.5, and that's 2, or that's, I don't know what that size is, but it's more work to cut them on an angle. So, or to cut like a groove in them. So I just cut them just flat and then fill it in the rest with welds. Yes, I know my welds don't look good, but I'm spraying them with water, and there was water coming through, but I redid the one, so it seems better now. I'll show you this one down here. That one actually looks half decent right there. That one looks more normal. Oh, what is that? So I'll grind them down and stuff, and then, but first I'm gonna put another one in the middle. After this gap that the gate goes into is too wide, that there's room for the gate to move up and down, and I want to stay at the top so it doesn't sag. So I'm gonna put this piece of metal in here, sort of like a ramp that will push it up like that. Can't really get in there. Now when I close my gate, kind of have to give it a little shove, and it'll close up there, because otherwise it does want to sag a little bit. But that works for me. All right, I believe the structure of the gate's all done. This is all hooked up in this, and I drilled a hole to put a lock through, so that's all good now. This isn't the lock I'm going to be keeping though. I bought a lock, but that one's too big, and the reason I can't use this one is it's got an aluminum body, I believe, and I want to weld it to a chain to the pole to the lock, so when you unlock it you don't have to put the lock somewhere and hope it doesn't get lost. It'll just stay there. But I can't weld to the aluminum, so this lock's just on there temporarily, but it keeps it closed. Clean off this gate and give it a paint job so it doesn't rust and look all bad. So I think that's pretty good though. I think this looks okay. Now for color, I'm gonna do just a nice gloss black and some white reflective tape. I was trying to decide against yellow like most gates so they're really visible, but I didn't think it really mattered as this one is going to be well illuminated, or white, but I thought white would stand out too much as well, so I think black would match the trim on the shed good and look pretty nice. So now I've just got to clean this up. I've got a different lock now. Hopefully this one will work better. So this one here, this aluminum one, maybe it's not aluminum. I think it's aluminum though. If I could try sticking a magnet to it, either way. That one can come off, and we can put this one on. Now I believe I'm at the painting step. I've cleaned this whole thing off. Got some soapy water and a sponge with some real gritty side, and wiped down this whole thing a couple times with the soapy water, and then I leaf blowed it off and then dried it. So yeah, it's pretty well dry. Now there is some surface rust. Of course, nothing deep, just like you see, this part's pretty shiny yet, but there is some surface rust. But as long as it's not coming off when I'm rubbing it hard with the coarse brush, I'm sure it's fine to paint over. These poles are pretty much fine. All the uprights, like these guys, are all okay. So I think we're getting close. By the way, I did weld on a little end cap there. So I think we're getting close to painting time. All right, guys, gate is painted now. I know I'm showing you at nighttime, so I'll give you a better update in the daytime. This has been, this is probably about 3 or 4 coats, but like second one letting it completely dry. Like I did one, and once it's like dry enough that it's not dripping, but then I waited for it to get dry enough that like you still wouldn't want to touch it, but it would still not drip if you added more paint. I did another one, and then I gave it about an hour, let it fully dry, and then I did my final coat, and it was fine. It didn't need the final coat, but I thought I used 2 cans, and I was like almost all the way through the second one, so I thought I might as well just use it up to a final coat. So I just used the rest of it up. So this is how it looks. The gate looks pretty good. This one has also been done. I don't expect this to stay nice and not rust up, because like it's gonna grind right on that edge there. So I don't expect that edge right there to stay nice, or that little bit where it sort of goes up my ramp. Same with where the lock goes through. And I'm also still gonna have to weld lock up, because there's my lock. So I lock that there. Why are you being difficult? There we go. So I had to get a steel lock, as I was saying earlier, because I want to weld up this chain. I know I already mentioned that, but I'm not going to paint the chain. I'll probably just I'll take the angle grinder, grind off a bit on the pole probably. Maybe I'll even do it right under there so it's hidden, and then paint it, and then have the chain just go up to the lock. This gate isn't really for security. It's more so for protection of the garage from vehicles. Because I think I mentioned in my part 1 video, I was just going to do two bollards, I think. Bollards to protect the edges from when vehicles and trailers and equipment get brought up here. But it's like, I'm already doing that. I might as well do a whole gate to protect the garage door, which is the weakest point. And then I was just going to do a removable bollard, but that was just, why not do a gate? It's more fun to have a swinging gate, I think. I think that's more interesting, and maybe one day I can get access control with the fob system going up there as a lock. We'll see. Maybe I can have a linear actuator open it. Not sure yet. Lots of possibilities. The thing that I'm not confident with are these hinges. They are commercial hinges for commercial doors, so they do have probably at least a 1/4 inch pin in the middle. They're a lot stronger than the residential ones. So I'm not sure. They'll be fine to hold the gate. I'm just not sure how they'd do with a hit from a vehicle. I think those would shear, or bend. Hard to say though. Hopefully it never needs to get hit. It's just there. More of a cool project, and if it ever did happen, this would definitely offer more protection, as we got 2 1/4 inch thick pipes, top and bottom, which, I mean, if you wanted to get through it with a vehicle, you're gonna get through it. I'm sure if I took my truck here and I wanted to get through it, I'd get through it, but I think you would damage your car, and just sliding into it would stop you. All right, all the paint's done. Now it's time to reflective tape this gate. So I'm gonna start this at 5 inches down so I can get it the same on either side. And to go around, and then a little bit extra. Be right about there. Five inches is right there. Looks fairly level. wrap it around back so my seam's at the back side of it. There you have it. There's the two of them. I turned the light on so maybe they show up a little better. Now for on the gate arm, I think I should have some, especially on this end, because then when the gate's open, there'll be a somewhat slim black object out in the yard here where somebody could not see and run into. So it definitely needs it on the end on both sides. And then on the rest of the gate to even out, I'll probably do one there. I'll maybe do 4 of them, or should I just do one continuous strip? So here, I figured that one long strip would probably be hard to keep at the same level and not look bad at all. So instead, I'm going to do 1 foot long sections every couple feet. I've now got 3 on this one side here, which I think 3 is a pretty good amount. Like, it's not too close together that it really takes away from the simple look of the gate of just a black gate, but still enough to be seen that there's not large gaps between them. Now I'm going to do 3 on the other side, just showing the gates in that open position. All right, guys, well, I think that does it for this gate project. Now, I'm sorry I can't show you this in daylight, but you can see it pretty good. I'm sure you'll definitely see it in other videos. This won't be the last time you see this gate, obviously, as it's right in front of the garage, but either way, I hope you enjoyed this video series and building this gate. If you enjoyed this video and this series, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you like my videos and want to see more like them, make sure to subscribe. Again, any comments or questions, leave those down below. Thanks for watching.